This is the look today. I am too cold to change it. It's too cold for me. Hi, hello. Welcome to the Fluffy Tail household where there's nothing but good fuzzy vibes here. So we're gonna continue on the Alone cosplay. Now we finished up the helmet. We're gonna start on the outfit. I already did pick out the pattern, so let me show you guys. We're using Simplicity pattern 8722, and we're gonna use jumpsuit A. I picked this pattern because her jumpsuit is pretty much similar to this jumpsuit. I can also alter this jumpsuit by adding the pleats in the knee area and the elbow area. I'm also gonna cut out a medium. Now I'm generally small in these patterns. Sometimes a medium, depending. This pattern is a little bit bigger, mainly because it is a male and female pattern. But I think I'm going to stick with the medium because I don't want it too big and I don't want it too small. And as for the collar, I'm gonna have to pattern that on my own, but we're gonna start with the jumpsuit first and go from there. All right, see you guys in a minute. So for the pattern, I will only need 3 of them. So I need 1, 6, and 8. Now it says to cut out 2 for the yoke, but the yoke is this piece up here. And I think that's more for structural integrity than anything else. I don't think I'll be cutting out that piece. If I do, I will cut it out for the lining. In case I muck up on the lining, then the fashion fabric will be fine. So I fully cut out the pattern. As you can see towards the bottom of here, I had to tape 2 of the patterns together. That's what the pattern requested. That might even be a little long for me, and I know that sleeve is long. I cut it to pattern C and D instead of just A. I want these pieces to be a little bit longer. That'll work in my favor because Alone has like folds or pleats towards her elbow, and then there's some that are towards the knees. So I'm gonna work around with this a little bit and cut out the lining. Okay, it's looking a little, very, very baggy. So there are some changes I need to make. I need to bring in the sides, definitely. So I will be marking that with my heat erase pen up to about like my hip area, because where the hip sits is pretty good. And then I need to, I'm being really careful about this because I got pins all in it, but I need to put up the pants up to my ankle. And I think what I'm going to do is, the way I'm standing, is I'm going to mark down a little bit below the knee. Just a little bit. I think right here is pretty good. So I'm going to give that little mark. And then however much I pull this up, I'm going to mark where it sits. So if it sits right here, and I take away all the baggage, I'm trying to fold it in on itself too. So wherever it sits, I'm going to mark the inside of that. There you go. And there. And there's my inches right there, where I'm going to take away for the pleats. I'm going to do the same thing on the arms, and I think that's where I'm going to go. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit off camera and see where we're at. So after a bit of fiddling, I think I got it. So these are the pleats that I'm going to go with. I just eyeballed these. I didn't really do much other than fold and mark. And I marked like the little edge with the heat erase pen. So when I take these pins out, the lines will be there. And that way I can replicate it on the other side. I know this is just the lining, but I want to make sure this worked before I put it on the fashion layer. And when I sew all of this up on the sides, I will be opening up the sides. I don't think I'm going to serge them, just because I don't want bulk for the extra layer. But I'm going to get started on that by replicating these on that, and then we will focus on the sleeves in a bit. So you're probably wondering to yourself, what is that? What is that large seam in the middle there? Well, let me tell you, I can't keep this a dirty little secret anymore. I didn't buy enough fabric, or at least there wasn't enough fabric on the bolt. So my plan for the sleeve, for at least the this part right here, is to sew it together, and the pleats will actually cover that seam. And then if I don't have enough, or I have a little bit more overlap than I need, I'm going to use these as like a cuff and sew it on to this part. Maybe hanging off a bit to give it more of a length. But I think that's how I'm going to finish off this sleeve, because she does have a little bit of a cuff. I'm trying to fudge the fabric as much as I can. I don't have any more left of this green fabric except enough for the collar. And yeah, so that's a lesson to you all. Always buy more fabric. I was just so in love with this fabric. I couldn't not do the project in this fabric, but in the back of my mind, I knew there probably wasn't going to be enough. So I'm fudging it as much as I can. I hope this works out. If not, I can try to find more of this. I don't know if I can. I'm just going to have to do what works. Sorry guys, I cut out a new pair of sleeves. I didn't like how I was trying to piece the one sleeve together. It looked really bad. And I went to the fabric store and happened to find more fabric. So I'm just going to continue with what I've been doing, which is making the pleats on the sleeves. I already made the pleats on all the body piece, so I will be showing that in a bit. So as you can see, it's kind of a ball of mess, but it is the 2 layers of fabric pinned together, which is the fashion layer and the lining layer. And all of these pins where I have it, I'm gonna sew it down almost like a flat felt seam, but it's not a flat felt seam. I'm just sewing each of the seams to one side to make it almost look like a pair of jeans, you know? But that is the plan, so I will be doing that throughout the whole garment, and then we will move on to putting the sleeves on. Okay, this is the whole outfit. I have to hold some of it up, but it is pretty much together. I don't have a zipper in, so it is a little bit baggy at the top here, and I just need to elasticate the ankles right here. I also don't have the sleeves on yet, but otherwise it's coming along great, so I'm gonna start doing that. You can definitely see the difference of the elasticated leg and the not so elasticated leg. Sorry guys, my camera died, but you didn't miss much. All I did was the sleeves, sewed them together, sewed the cuffs, and I just serged the inside. And then I just serged where the armholes are. Nothing really crazy happened. But otherwise, the garment is pretty much together. All I have left is the zipper and the collar. I'm just gonna hand sew the zipper in. I don't know what happened to my machine zipper foot, but otherwise, Nothing really crazy. I'll just pick back up when I am done with this. This is where we're at. It is fully done. The whole outfit, the back with the zipper, the elastic in the ankles. So now all I need to do is the collar, which I am gonna sit down and pattern it and get back to you guys in a bit. And then there's also a little patch right here. I think it's like a little latch or a little hook maybe on her outfit, but it just looks like a patch of fabric. So I'm gonna make a little patch of fabric right here, and I think there is one up here too. I'm not really sure. I've been looking at the picture, but if so, I would like to make one up here anyway because I want to attach a snap to it. And then that way when I have my strap with my weapon on, it can snap to the strap. And then that way the weapon won't be flying everywhere. But that is the plan. And then painting. Painting is also a big thing. I'm going to paint the front and all the sides. Basically where it looks like grime would build up all over time, or where like stress would build up in the seams. So we're going to get started on that and I'll get back to you guys. So my plan is to use the collar that already exists, and I'm just gonna build off of that. So I measured where I want it to sit. I think 9 inches is pretty good. This will give me a little bit of overlap up at the top and a little bit down at the bottom because I need a seam allowance for the bottom and I need a seam allowance for the top. And I'm just gonna kind of loosely trace it right here. I'm also gonna go off of like the sides. I don't know how well this is gonna work, but luckily this is on like the lining fabric. So if I do mess up, it's on the lining. And I want it to like almost look like a bowl that I'm cutting out. I think this will really work in my favor. And then the back, I can always cut through the back and make it 2 pieces. And then that way, I can either put hooks on the back or maybe Velcro on the back. And the way this mask is going to be held up, or the collar, I'm going to make it like a mask, is what I should say. It's going to be held up by 2 pieces of elastic, so that should work out pretty good. I'm going to go up as far as I can to the 9-inch mark. So here's 9 inches right here. I'm going to make it stop right here. And it's okay if it sags a little bit, because this is going to be also cut out of 2 pieces. If it sags a little bit, that's fine, because it sags a little bit in the back. Okay. Alright, I'm going to cut that out and see where we are. I'm going to pin it to the collar. Try to pin it everywhere. I think I need to make this more flat right here. We'll see how it goes. Not gonna lie, I look like some strange off-brand Naruto character. But this pattern actually worked out pretty good. I made it a little bit bigger. I rounded it a bit more. It actually does overlap in the back, which is what I wanted it to do. And it goes up over my nose. Now, these are kind of loose on the ears, but I also haven't cut out from this kind of fabric, just this one. I will have it only in this green fabric. That way the weight is also distributed, because this is just like plain cotton. It's very flopsy. It has no weight to it, whereas this rayon, it has a bit more weight to it. It's very almost dense, a little bit heavier. and that'll work in my favor. I also don't want it to sag down past my nose either. I want to make sure that these little pieces are going to be tight enough to hold it up. But otherwise, I think this is the pattern I'm going to go with, and just go from there. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The mask turned out better than expected. Oh, it looks so good. All I did was I sewed it up, sewed it to the collar. I serged where I sewed, and then I put Velcro in the back to hold it. And I kind of just have it stuffed underneath the hat, which is good because the hat is like really snug itself. Making sure that this mask piece won't fall or anything. So that's good. And then I marked little places. I don't know if you can see the mark, but there's a mark right here. There's a mark down by my belly button where the little patches are gonna go. But we're almost done with this piece, so I just need to put the little patches, buttons, and then paint. And then we'll be completely done with the outfit portion, and we can move on to the next portion. So I was playing around with the paints. You can see where I really messed up that big old dark greenish blue block. It looks awful. I hate it compared to like the one that I just kind of buffered brown on to make it look like a little bit dirty, a little distressed. So I'm glad I just hand sewed those on so I can take them off. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that one right off. No big deal. I'll make another one. But I'm just going to go with brown in the areas. I was trying to mix green and stuff, and it just wasn't working out. So brown it is. sorry for it being loud. I have a load going through. But anyway, I sprayed down the shoes I'm going to wear with this OxyClean. And I'm going to put them in the washer. And I'm going to let them air dry. And then I'm going to paint them. So I don't have to go bare feet. I know there is the plastic sandal method, which I don't really like, or the invisible shoe method, which again, I don't really like. It just cuts up your feet. So this is the better option. I already have these shoes. They just need to be cleaned. So I know this sounds crazy. I tried to mix paint and couldn't really get a skin tone. I'm using these Ben Nye ones. I've been using them for a while on me, on my cosplay makeup, but the pans are getting really small and I've switched over to a different foundation. So I'm like, this will work. I think it's working out fine. I mean, again, it's just for the shoe. I'm not going to really worry too much about it, but I'm going to continue with this. Alright, you guys, it is all finished. The painting, the sewing, the helmet, even the shoes. And it looks really, really good. So I can't wait to move on to the weapon, which will be in the next video. But I hope you guys are having a good day, and thank you for joining me.